Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's StepsBasic, and welcome back to Let's Play. No, not Let's Play. Welcome back to my community show. And today the topic is going to be the Stray review. Now, I kind of wanted to get in here and give my final thoughts about the game after having it came out, and then I played it and I beat it in basically the same day. I think it took me like I started playing it one day at night, and then I finished playing it the next day during the day, and I loved it. I just didn't want to stop, and that's kind of what prompted me to want to give my final thoughts on it and how much fun it was. Now, if you're watching this before you've watched my series, or if you've haven't played it yet, then I will warn you that I'm going to put spoilers in here, but as usual, before my spoilers, I will usually do my spoiler thing. But bear that in mind that there will be spoilers, and some might slip past my censor. So, that being said, I absolutely loved this game. Now, it's funny because I definitely had some negative ideas about it, and negative feelings, emotions about it, particularly around the certain lacking functions of it. Now, of course, the game was sold on being a cat game, so if you were lacking some things regarding to cats, then, well, if your cat couldn't do certain things, then it's like, obviously, it's going to be lacking a little bit in the immersion. Now, of course, I'm not talking about the silly things like, stopping randomly and licking your butt, or, push the button to randomly hack up a hairball, but I did want a designated, slapping button and not just a situational prompt. Like if you're near something you can slap, you push the button, you can slap it. No, I wanted there to be a, like there was a dedicated meow button. There should be a dedicated slap button. Because sometimes I didn't want to just walk into things, because cats don't necessarily always just walk into things. They can slap things, And that being said, I do feel like there should have been an option to just jump rather than jump when prompted. That was a little bit immersion breaking. But beyond that, those two minor annoyances, like the rest of the world was just fully immersive, and I really felt like I was really in there. I didn't feel like I was a cat, obviously, but I did feel like, I was really in the world, as it were, because the world was rich and beautiful and gross and disgusting and real and like I even mentioned at the end of the game, spoilers, that when I got to the clean area, the control room area, it felt wrong because it was too clean. But like the rest of the world that you were in, it was like, oh my God, this just feels so lived in. This world doesn't feel like a 2D shell of itself, as it were. And because of that, the immersion, beyond the lacking controls in the cat, the immersion was like spot on. I loved it. I really felt like I was into it. And like lengthwise, I feel like it kind of stuck the landing in between just enough and not enough. Because it's hard to say, like, I definitely felt like if it had gone on any longer, I might have started to get bored with it. And being like, I played about 6 hours worth. Like the game, my playthrough is about 6 hours. Looking back, I actually did the speed run to get the trophy on it and beat it in an hour and 34 minutes. But if you're playing through to get everything and you want to find everything, you want to explore and everything, it took me about 6 hours. And I'm a little slow, so aim for about 4 to 5 hours maybe, if you're going to be like really thorough. So like in that aspect, if it had gone on any longer, I might have gotten bored with it. But the 6 hours, like the time that I spent in the game, felt perfect for exploration and just understanding the world that I'm in. For the most part, like every question I had was answered, with the exception of like one or two like global questions. Like I really loved that, you're in a world, spoilers, where all the humans died to a virus, and so like there's going to be no humans around. It's just going to be you and the robots. And then there's the bad guys, the Zerks as they're called, and you find out that they were an evolution of a bacteria that the humans created to dispose of trash. And it's pretty genius, too. Now, of course, when you get down into the Zerk Hive, spoiler, in the sewers, there is the question of what the heck is with all these eyes? Like, what is going on here? Because these aren't creature eyes. These are human eyes. They are very much, these thingies. These peepers right here. They're not like a dog's eyes or a cat's eyes, or even the Zerk's eyes, which are glowing spotlights. So it's like, are these the remnants of the humans after the virus killed them, and then their bodies were eaten and absorbed by the Zerks, and then spat out as poop, and then developed into these things? Now that's just me theorizing, but it's like I wanted to know more about that. So that was definitely a lacking of information. There were a few things like, how did the robots evolve? That was kind of explained a little bit, in that they didn't necessarily evolve per se, as their brains, the human brains, were downloaded into the bodies of the robots via these capsule things. And that's actually where you first met the your companion B12. Spoilers, in that he was supposed to be the professor downloading his mind into that robot that was attached to the capsule, but he never actually succeeded. Something went wrong, and he was stuck in the thing. And I found that to be kind of intriguing and fun, which was funny because, you notice a few things throughout the world that you're like, why is a robot doing that? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Why is there food? Why is the air conditioner running? And it's because of holdovers from humanity. As the humans have have put their brains into these robots, certain habits carried over, like, oh, we have to eat. Oh, we should probably keep this area cool. Oh, I like music, etc. Stuff like that. And I found that to be a little bit fascinating and interesting, and honestly inspired a little bit of a horror story in my mind that I wanted to write, which was kind of interesting, and I actually started writing it. But I can't say it's going to go anywhere, but the idea of it's there, which is important. And I like the inspiration. It's great. Beyond that, there were a few other things that I had questions about, like, we know that we're in Walled City 99, which means hypothetically that there's 98 more walled cities that we need to go through. And of course, that excludes anything above 99, because who's going to stop at building 99 walled cities? That just seems wrong. So there might be even more Walled City 100 and up, but we know for sure, at least, that there are 98 more. All things being said, like, even discounting the fact that maybe it was just a fun number that the creators of Walled City liked, so they're like, oh, I like the number 99, so we're going to call Walled City 99. Even discounting that, there was definitely not enough room within this city to keep all of the humans in the world. So there is definitely an implication there that there are more walled cities, or at least more cities beyond Walled City 99. And I want to know more about that. Perhaps even in some of these other ones, humanity has still thrived, flourished, prospered, survived, even if they're just surviving. And I want to know more about that. Like, after you have, spoilers, after you have left the walled city at the end of the game, you're like, is the cat just going to go and find a nice, cute little place to live for now? Go back to its family? Is it going to try to seek out more humans? Because this cat was definitely a bit more intelligent than an ordinary cat, because, well, I mean, you're controlled by the human. So the human mind in the cat makes the cat far more intelligent than, like, a regular cat. Or at the very least, far more motivated to do things than a regular cat. So overall, the gameplay in the game was spectacular. Like, discounting the two things that I had gripes about, the lack of, batting, the contextual prompts rather than, free reign. Overall, the game itself was a lot of fun to play, and the jumping mechanics were smooth. I never felt like, there were a couple of times where it was like, where's the prompt? Where's the prompt? Where's the prompt? And honestly, there was an option to turn off the prompt so that you could just like, without having it pop up on the screen, you could just find the prompt. And honestly, I feel like that would have been a headache and a half. And then there were times when you tried to jump up and the cat would jump down instead, and you'd go like the X would pop up, the prompt would pop up in the wrong place, and you wouldn't notice until you were already mid jump. So there were a couple of times when I definitely jumped where I didn't want to jump, and there were a couple of times when I wanted to jump but I couldn't find the prompt. And that was a little frustrating, a little annoying. But of course, at the same time, I understand why the prompt was there. It was to avoid you from accidentally missing and getting frustrated with the jumping mechanics and failing jumps a lot. Because, well, let's face it, cats don't do that. At least not very often. Beyond that, like the puzzles in the game were intuitive, not too much of a challenge. But they still felt like once you succeeded, it definitely felt like you won. You like feel good about yourself. Yay! Oh, I solved this puzzle with the trash compactor things. Oh, I'll follow behind it so that the laser things don't see me, and the sentinels are evil and they don't kill me and whatnot. And solving all those problems was a lot of not complicated, but it definitely made you feel good about the solution. And then there were some puzzles which were just find the object, and that's all you really have to do. And like the spoilers. The object hunt in Clementine's apartment was a bit more annoying than it was intuitive. It's like you get a picture of the things you're looking for, and some of them are obvious, like the hookah in the incense burner, I guess, in the main area, the geode, the rock, the crystal, whatever you want to call it, up on the top there, fairly intuitive. But then they're like, oh, and also this lava lamp. But there's like 4 different lava lamps in her apartment. It's like, okay, which one? And of course, the one that you want is hidden, so to speak, off the ground, above your head, and around a corner and whatnot. And then the mannequin with the pylon on its head, you're like, what even is that? Like, I think I called it a spaceship. I'm like, there's no spaceships in here. And so it's like that one wasn't as intuitive as all the other ones, and it just literally just gives you the answer afterwards. You don't have to organize it or anything, put it in order or anything like that. But for the most part, jumping puzzles and like item collection puzzles, they're pretty intuitive, and they made you feel good about, or at least it made me feel good about the solution to them. Overall, I definitely have to give this game like an 8 out of 10. Replayability, I think I played the game itself. It took me 6 hours. I went back, I did the speed run for it. It took me 1 hour and 34 minutes. And then I went back into the original save file, and was able to just jump to the chapter I needed to find the memories that I missed. So 2 memories. And then hunting for the pins, the badges for the cat, and finishing up side quests that I failed or didn't find. Actually, I found all the side quests, so like there's only one of them that I didn't succeed at, which was the keys in the place. I didn't quite do that one. And I kind of want to do like I know I don't do this very often, but I kind of want to do like walkthrough episodes of like, here are all the memories, here are all these, here are all these. And I kind of want to do that, but I'm like, I don't know if I should. Because it's not really something I do so much on this channel, but I might. So replayability does kind of suffer a bit because, after the first one and then the speed run, and once you've finished collecting everything, which you don't even have to play through the whole game to do, which honestly I kind of like, there's not really any real incentive to play through it again unless you want to just experience the game again. And for me, I think like 2-3 times, I ain't going to want to play it again. I do still have 2 achievements I have to get, and one of them is just sleep for an hour. I have to find a place to sleep for an hour, just put my controller aside, but easy, but very cat oriented. And the other one is the first chase scene in the game when you're running from the Zerks. you have to not get caught, and I have tried that so many times and failed so many times. Oh my god. I'll get it though. I'll get it eventually because I'm dedicated. I'll do this. But apart from that, overall, I have to give, like I said, 8 out of 10 sort of thing. Generic rating system. Whether or not you go by those is basically saying it's good, great, enjoyable, may lack in some replayability, does leave some questions unanswered, and then goes on to, have a few minor flaws that I wasn't a big fan of. But overall, game was spectacular. Oh, so good. I loved it. Not perfect, but great. I think I did the wrong hand signals for that. That's fine. But I do have some theories after playing through the game and experiencing and enjoying things. I do have some theories. Like the first one is that the reason that the Sentinels went down when the roof opened and shined sunlight on them is because they were no longer necessary. Because their entire job was to enforce the no leaving rule. And since the security override had opened up the doors and everything, then their whole job was moot. So they just shut down. So the sun was out, the doors were open, everyone can leave, so the Sentinels no longer had a purpose. And that's why they shut down. Although the timing was weird because they shut down when the sunlight hit them. And that was the thing that registered rather than like software update saying, hey, doors are open, you can leave them alone now. I thought that was a little weird, but that's my theory about why they shut down when the sun hit them. It's like maybe it had heat sensors or sun sensors that were like, oh, okay, we're done. And the other one. This one's a big one. This one's a spoiler one. So, the end of the game. Spoilers. The end of the game, after you have unlocked all the things and put B12 into the machine where he would, open the door, open the iris and everything, he dies. Very sad. Broke my heart a little bit, but nothing happened to the cat, right? So hey. But that was a very sad moment. But I don't think he died. Now, there is a rationale behind this. It's not just I deny it. He's not dead. See, when you're leaving the city, when you're leaving the walled city, the cat stops, does the meow thing, and then like the sunshine, then trots off, kitty cat trots. But then a panel lights up. And it's like, I think that's the developer's way of saying that B12 is not dead, because that's what he did when you first met him. He was lighting up panels, like guiding you and stuff. And yes, so many other panels light up throughout the game, but they're all already active, or well, they're all just already active. And then these panels just psst, and I think that was like they drew attention to it purposely within the story. So it's like that's them pointing out something. And my theory is that B12 is not dead. His robot body is, but he himself has integrated into the software of the city, so he is the city itself now. And I find that to be a much better explanation than he died, because I don't want B12 dead. That's my rationalization. But anyway, short game, short review. I really loved it, and if you haven't played it yet, I definitely recommend it. And like I said, it took me 6 hours. Might take you a little bit shorter because I'm a little bit slow, being an old man like I am. But definitely a good play. Apart from all that, let me know what you thought about the game if you've played it. Let me know if you plan to play it if you haven't yet. And let me know your favorite parts. But that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you all so much for joining me for this episode of The Community Show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, please go and poke that like button for me. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you're more than welcome to leave a comment down in the comment section down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. When I can. If I can, you know all that jazz. And tune in next time as we talk about another topic at another time. And until then, good night.